Rolls-Royce makes the world's most luxurious cars, and the world's wealthiest people dream of owning a Rolls-Royce, but surprisingly, the beginning of this luxurious Rolls-Royce was made by a boy who his entire childhood was spent in poverty doing child labor. The story begins in 1816. Henry Royce was born in a small village in England. When Royce was only 4 years old, his father's business failed. And the entire family ended up on the street. But this was just the beginning of the problems. After this, at just 9 years old, Royce lost his father forever, which forced his mother to work as a maid, and Royce started delivering newspapers. Now saw potential in Henry. They went to the Great Northern Railway Company and got Royce to join as an apprentice for £20 per annum. Over the next 3 years, Royce worked tirelessly day and night. By reading dozens of books and working practically in the factory, he learned carpentry, math, and most importantly, electronics. By the age of 17, he had become a fully capable mechanic. By the age of 21, he was working as an engineer at a company named Maxim Western, but due to financial difficulties, this company shut down. Royce had the option to take a job in several other companies, but he decided to start his own electrical engineering company. He used his savings of £20 and began from a small office space in Manchester as F.H. Royce and Company. He also brought his friend Ernest Claremont in as a partner. To initially survive, Royce did any work he got, such as repairing sewing machines and doing electrical fittings, etc. But then Royce observed that over time, electrical lighting and fittings, the demand was increasing a lot, so they started manufacturing arc lamps, bulb holders, and electronic doorbells, and this work changed the company's fortune. By year 1900, the company's sales crossed £20,000. At the age of 38, Royce had a family and was planning to build a very large factory. Everything was going well when a twist comes in the story. In 1901, German and American companies entered the British electronics market. The competition suddenly increased and the prices of electronic equipment dropped significantly. Despite all efforts, Royce's business began to crash, and seeing the business he had worked so hard to build fail, Royce's physical and mental health started deteriorating rapidly. When Royce consulted a doctor, he got simple advice that to get better, Royce needed to stay in fresh air, along with being advised to buy a car so that Rolls-Royce Before moving forward, I have a question for you. Do you also want to build a successful startup and achieve financial freedom for yourself? If yes, then I highly recommend that you listen to The Lean Startup on Audible. Listen to this audiobook. It will guide you step by step and teach you how to test your business idea, create valuable products, and grow your business without wasting time and money. Grow. This audiobook can truly change your life. By the way, I myself use Audible a lot for listening to audiobooks of different genres and even for research on videos also. Now you can through UPI on Audible. You can easily sign up without the need for a credit or debit card, so sign up for Audible right now using the link provided in the description or pinned comment below. Now let's return to the story. And first, the decision is made to supply the 4 Rolls-Royce models with 10, 15, 20, and 30 horsepower. Rolls believed that the best way to market any car is to participate in racing tournaments with that car. To do this, Rolls participated in prestigious tournaments like the Isle of Man Tourist Trophy and won those races using Rolls-Royce cars. Along with that, they set several new speed records with these cars. Was yet to come, but their most successful car was still awaited. At the end of the year 1906, Royce launched a model with 40 and 50 horsepower and 6 cylinders. The color of its body was silver and it was extremely smooth and silent to drive, just like a Ghost, and that's why it was named Silver Ghost. To market the car, Rolls organized an endurance of 24,000 kilometers. A test plan was conducted where the Silver Ghost was driven continuously day and night except Sundays for 2.5 months, covering a distance of 24,000 kilometers. The Silver Ghost passed this test without any issues. In addition, Rolls organized several demonstrations where they subjected the Silver Ghost to the whisper test. In this test, they balanced a coin on the car's bonnet and drove it without letting it fall to prove the... With this strategy, the Silver Ghost became popular all around as the best car in the world, and it was the kings of that time. Rolls and Royce's partnership decision proved to be a masterstroke. They were achieving success from all sides when suddenly a terrible accident happened. Charles Rolls, along with cars, aviation, they were flying a plane called the Wright Flyer. During the flight, the aircraft's tail section broke and the plane 100 feet up. The plane crashed from a height, and in this accident, 32-year-old Charles Rolls lost his life. Unfortunately, he was the first Briton to lose his life in an airplane accident. Became the first person. This accident deeply impacted Royce. He was trying to recover from this loss when in 1911 he received another shock. His health started deteriorating rapidly and doctors informed him that he had bowel cancer. His major only lived for 3 months. Even in this condition, Royce continued the design and engineering of the Silver Ghost from his bed, kept improving, and then a miracle happened. Before he knew it, 3 months had passed and Royce made a 100% recovery. After returning, Royce made major improvements to the Silver Ghost. The ground clearance was increased, the suspension was improved, and the chassis was made stronger. During this time, Rolls-Royce noticed that on the car's bonnet, a trend of attaching personalized mascots has started, but the company was concerned that people were attaching inappropriate mascots, negatively impacting Rolls-Royce's image. This could be the reason they got their own mascots designed. Their mascot features a British actress and model named Eleanor Thornton. This sculpture depicts a woman forward, leans forward. Her hands are stretched backward and strong winds are blowing against her. This mascot represents a sense of grace and freedom and symbolizes speed. It is named Spirit of Ecstasy. Ecstasy means overwhelming happiness. Due to all these improvements, Rolls-Royce's sales and profits are exponential. By 1913, their profit had exceeded £90,000 and there were plans to expand branches internationally. But then something happened again that almost ruined Rolls-Royce. World War. In 1914, World War I began, but Rolls-Royce was prepared for it. The economy crashed due to the war, which had the most impact on luxury car companies like Rolls-Royce. Sales crashed and the company had to fire employees. Everyone thought Rolls-Royce wouldn't survive the war, but Royce had different plans in mind. After which they realized the need for reliable and high-performance vehicles in the war. So Rolls-Royce modified the Silver Ghost into an armored car. The body of the car has 8mm thick armor was done. This car was used to conduct operations in the harsh desert regions of the Middle East, plus they were used for spying missions as well. Also, because the Silver Ghost was quite smooth to drive, it was able to be used by a wounded. It was a vehicle, therefore many Silver Ghosts were modified into war ambulances. They were made with sufficient space for stretchers, medical equipment and nurses, and for nighttime missions, electric lighting fitted. These ambulances saved thousands of lives. Finally, due to their luxury features, during the war, Rolls-Royce cars were used by high-ranking officers, diplomatic missions, and was also used by king messengers. While working closely with the military, Rolls-Royce realized that the British Air Force heavily depended on French companies for their airplane engines, and the government desperate. Royce himself learned to design aero engines and in 1915 launched his first engine, the Eagle. This engine was more reliable, light and fuel efficient compared to the competition. Therefore, by the end of the year, the British Air Force had 500 Eagle and Otto. In the end, the Hawk engine was made for light aircraft. In 1916, a smaller version of the Eagle called the Falcon engine was made, and in 1918, the Condor engine was made for large and long-range aircraft. Due to these engines, Britain and bombing missions, all of these gained a major advantage, and this was an important part of their victory. The entry of Rolls-Royce into aero engine manufacturing proved to be a brilliant step, and even today, Rolls-Royce engines are used in thousands of commercial and military aircraft. They launched a smaller and cheaper car called the 20. Unfortunately, the sales of the 20 were not very impressive by 1925 in the luxury car market. Due to brands like Bentley, Delmar and Cadillac, competition had increased significantly and Rolls-Royce needed a bold car to maintain its position. Therefore, they replaced the Silver Ghost with better performance. The Phantom was quite successful and once again made Rolls-Royce the king of the luxury car market. Later, the Phantom 2 was also launched, which was equally well received. In 1931, Rolls-Royce acquired Bentley, which was about to go bankrupt. 3.5 liters, which was a successful blend of these two great brands, Rolls-Royce and Bentley, but unfortunately, Royce never with his own eyes. Sir Henry Royce, at 70 years old on April 22nd, 1933, had his Sir Henry Royce's death until today, just a few months before the car's production. Royce saw many ups and downs. On one hand, iconic cars like the Phantom, Silver Shadow and Ghost were launched, while on the other hand, they faced financial difficulties in the 1960s, leading to their aviation and automobile business owns it. But even today, Rolls-Royce, due to its iconic cars, stands for ultimate luxury. Owning a Rolls-Royce is like owning a masterpiece that symbolizes Royce's perfection and Rolls' charisma. Don't forget, if you want to start your own startup, listen to the Lean Startup audiobook on Audible and use the link in the description or pinned comment for a 2-month free trial on Audible.